All right, I want to talk about these Polk Monitor 10Bs. It's been a while since I made a video, a little different backdrop. I wanted to try something different this time around. But these Polks, they've basically been the top of the heap for me. I mean, I've had speakers in here that have been way more expensive, that theoretically should have sounded way better than these. And you know, I like to A/B stuff. I'm talking about modern stuff. I'm talking about vintage stuff. You name it. These Polks are absolutely incredible speakers. Now, there are guys that are going to talk about the shortcomings of these speakers. Absolutely, they have shortcomings. I mean, every speaker, I won't say every speaker, but most speakers, 99% of them, I mean, they're not perfect. Not everybody can afford Wilson Audio stuff. For what these are, how accessible they were back in the day, and I think they're still relatively accessible for what they are. I think that they're absolutely incredible speakers. I have a really hard time actually like getting rid of these, just because every time I bring something else in and I go back and I listen to these Monitor 10Bs, I'm just blown away. You know, the bass response is interesting because it does have a passive radiator. I mean, I'm sure you already know about these. If you're looking at this video, you probably already know about these speakers. But you got the two mids. I actually have the upgraded tweeter. These are original Polk mids, and you know, of course, you got your passive radiator. That passive radiator is why it's able to go so low in the sub bass range. I think it's 30 hertz, but just a huge wide 3D sound. And some guys have commented, you know, that maybe it's artificially wide. I don't really care. I don't care how accurate it sounds. I don't care if it sounds good. It's fun to listen to. That's really more what I'm concerned about. In this room, it's quite a, you know, echoey room. This is my living room, smallish. I've got wood laminate floors with the single rug with curtains, so there's a lot of echo. It's not a great room, and these speakers, they handle it like a champ. So I just think they're incredible speakers. There's a few times where I get something new and I'm like, man, like these are better than the Polks. Like for sure, these are better than the Polks, or they're at least somewhat close. And except I've had to basically stop myself. And, you know, like kind of, I take some time and then I come back to the Polks. I'm like, okay, well, are those other speakers really as good? And no, they're probably not. There was one time where it actually did happen, and it's with the RSB Infinities. But if you A/B them, the Polks still sound like better. But I think the Infinities still, they have like a little bit more accurate sound, depending on what you're looking for. I think they're a little more accurate, but I don't think they're as wide or as fun sounding as these Monitor 10s. These were actually given to me. The gentleman that gave them to me, he had a Sansui G22000, which, you know, I also repair electronics, and this particular unit didn't have, the VU meters weren't working anymore. Well, I ended up fixing it for him. I got the VU meters working again. And instead of paying me cash, he's like, hey, you can have these Polks. And I was like, what? Like, just pay me cash, man, you know? But I took him home, and I think the reason why he gave him to me was partly because my uncle had maybe, I don't know if you put a bug in this guy's ear or what, but my uncle's also an old school audiophile. He's like, hey, you know, my nephew's looking for some good speakers, and this guy, by the way, is a millionaire, the guy that gave them to me. And he always was playing these, even though he has huge Mirages and stuff. I mean, he was just playing these all the time, every time we came into his house. But anyway, he gave them to me, and I was like, you know, I want money. But took them home, and I've been listening to them ever since, and they're just a joy. They're a joy to listen to. I really can't understate how great these speakers are. As far as modern speakers, what I've had in here, I've had Anthony Gallo's. I'm not sure the model number on them, but they're the weird looking Anthony Gallo's with the side firing woofer. And then I've had the Unity Audio fountain heads. The Anthony Gallo's are interesting. I think I don't know if they weren't, the subs weren't hooked up or something, but definitely not the right room for those. I think they have a use, but I just didn't hear them probably in their best configuration. But So it probably wasn't a fair comparison. And then the other speaker the modern speaker that I had in here was somewhat modern, is the Unity Audio Fountainhead, which is an incredible speaker made out of like a corian-like material with a down-firing woofer. Interesting speaker. But anyway, these, for what they are, I mean, you can probably find these for like $400 or $500 on eBay, locally sometimes. They're just, man, they're so huge sounding. Every time I have somebody sit in this room and they listen, they're like, oh my God, this sounds incredible. They're just really impressed. Doesn't really matter what system it is. It could be, you know, this little integrated Sansui, or it could be Kenwood Jumbo Jet, or it could be a Marantz 2235B, or it could be Sansui 4000 or a Sansui 1000. All of the pieces of gear that I've had in here and I've ran through these speakers, it all sounds amazing, and they present really well, they image really well, they get loud. So yeah, that's just my little rundown on these Monitor 10Bs, and to this day I think they're my main speaker, and I have no shame in saying that they're my main speaker. And like I said, I've heard a lot more expensive speakers. Some guys like the super accurate, everything's got to be perfect. Me, I don't really care. I like the character. These have a ton of character, whether you like it or hate it. I think most people liked them back in the day. Most people definitely liked them. But those are my thoughts. If you like the video, obviously give it a thumbs up and comment if you have any experiences with the Polk Monitor 10Bs.